Have you ever felt like you just can't go on anymore? That your strength is depleted and the world seems to be conspiring against you? In the next few minutes, you'll discover how to transform that exhaustion into the most powerful force you've ever experienced. Think about it for a moment. What if I told you that the fatigue you're feeling right now isn't a signal to stop, but precisely the indicator that you're about to achieve your greatest breakthrough? What you're experiencing isn't the end of the road. It's the ultimate test that separates those who give up from those who triumph. Napoleon Hill discovered this after studying over 500 of the most successful people of his time. The exact moment before success is usually the point where most people abandon ship. 1. Persistence is the key to success when everything seems lost. There's something you need to understand immediately. Fatigue is a temporary condition, but giving up is permanent. Napoleon Hill discovered a fascinating pattern in every success story he studied for over 20 years. Absolutely all great achievers had faced a decisive moment where everything indicated they should surrender. The difference is that they chose to persist when others abandoned ship. Persistence, Hill said, is to a man's character what carbon is to steel. Without it, you remain iron, useful, but you'll never reach your maximum potential. Think about Thomas Edison and his more than 10,000 failed attempts before creating the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That mindset is what makes the difference. Have you ever wondered why you get tired just when you're about to achieve something important? It's simple. Your mind has a protection mechanism that triggers danger alarms when you approach your transformation zone. Your primitive brain interprets change as a threat and does everything possible to keep you in your comfort zone. But here's the secret: that fatigue is the signal that you're about to evolve. Do this exercise right now. Think about the last time you were about to give up but decided to keep going. What happened afterward? For most people, that moment of resistance was precisely the turning point that changed everything. Now repeat this phrase out loud. My persistence is unconditional. My determination has no expiration date. Do it 3 times. If you're watching this video, it's no coincidence. You need to understand that the line between failure and success is so thin that often you can't see it until you've crossed it. And that's what we'll talk about in the next point. 2. The second mental wind is real and scientifically proven. Napoleon Hill called it the second wind of effort, that miraculous phenomenon that occurs when you persist beyond your point of fatigue. Have you noticed how, after feeling like you can't go on, if you keep pushing forward, you suddenly find a new reserve of energy that you didn't even know you had? This phenomenon isn't imaginary. Elite athletes experience it constantly. After reaching the point where their muscles burn and their breathing becomes labored, if they continue, they experience a second wind that allows them to keep going with renewed strength. The same happens with your mind. Hill discovered that the human brain works similarly. After studying hundreds of successful people, he noticed that they had all experienced that mental second wind, a moment where, after feeling they had reached their limit, they found a new reserve of creativity, determination, and mental clarity. When a man reaches the limits of his endurance, Hill wrote, he discovers that he has powers he never dreamed he possessed. The discovery of these hidden powers makes a man never the same again. This is the transformation that awaits you on the other side of fatigue. Think about it. How many times have you been on the verge of solving a complex problem, but gave up just before the solution? Most people abandon what Hill called the last mile, that final stretch where success is literally around the corner. It's like digging for gold and giving up when you're just 3 feet away from finding the main vein. Do this exercise. The next time you feel like you can't go on, commit to giving 5 more minutes. Just 5 additional minutes of focused effort. During those 5 minutes, breathe deeply and repeat, "This is my second wind. This is where others give up and I continue." You'll be surprised to discover that precisely in those additional 5 minutes is where you'll find the most brilliant solutions. If you're enjoying this content, make sure to like and subscribe to receive more videos like this that will transform your mindset. The question now is, what happens in your brain when you decide to keep going despite fatigue? How can you train that ability? And that's what we'll talk about in the next point. 3. Your subconscious mind works tirelessly when you keep moving forward despite fatigue. Here's a truth that few understand. When you feel you've reached your conscious limit, your subconscious mind is just beginning to work on your goal. Napoleon Hill dedicated years to studying the power of the subconscious mind, and he discovered something fascinating. The subconscious mind is like a fertile garden where the seeds of thoughts grow and flourish, whether these seeds are positive or negative. When you persist despite fatigue, you're planting unstoppable seeds of success in that garden. Have you ever experienced having the solution to a complex problem right when you wake up, or while taking a shower? That's no coincidence. Your subconscious mind has been working on that problem all along, even when you thought you were too tired to continue. The mistake that most people make is interpreting fatigue as a signal to quit, when in reality, it's the moment when they should double down on their determination. It's precisely when you feel you've exhausted all your conscious ideas that your subconscious mind takes control and begins to assemble solutions that your conscious mind couldn't even imagine. Hill explained it this way: when your conscious mind has tired of seeking a solution, surrender to your subconscious. The exhaustion of the conscious mind is the signal that it's time to delegate the problem to a greater and deeper intelligence within you. There's a powerful exercise you can implement today. When you feel completely exhausted working on a problem or goal, take a piece of paper and clearly write down what outcome you want to achieve. Then, just before sleeping, read that statement and visualize for 3 minutes what it would be like to have already achieved that goal. Feel the emotions associated with that achievement. This programs your subconscious mind to work on that problem while you sleep. Do you realize the power you have? Your conscious fatigue is only half the story. When everyone else gives up because they're tired, you know you're just activating your most powerful resource, your subconscious mind. But something else happens when you persist beyond fatigue, and it's something that transforms not only your current situation, but your entire personality. And that's what we'll talk about in the next point. 4. Every time you keep moving forward despite fatigue, you're forging an unbreakable character. Fatigue isn't just an obstacle, it's the most effective tool for strengthening your character. Napoleon Hill understood this perfectly when he wrote, "Strength comes from struggle, not from surrender." Think of it this way: every time you decide to keep going when your body and mind are screaming, "Enough," you're building what Hill called a mental fortress that becomes increasingly resistant to the assaults of failure, criticism, and doubt. Character development doesn't happen in moments of comfort, but precisely in those instances where you have every justification in the world to give up, but you choose not to. It's like steel, which only reaches its maximum strength after being subjected to extreme temperatures. Your character is forged in the same way. Have you noticed that the most admirable people you know are those who have faced the greatest adversities? It's no coincidence, as Hill said, "Adversity reveals genius, prosperity conceals it. It's in the moments of greatest fatigue and difficulty where you discover what you're really made of." There's a pattern that Hill identified in every successful person he studied. They had all developed what he called a definiteness of purpose, that unshakable determination that allowed them to stay the course, even when everything indicated they should give up. This quality isn't innate. It's built decision by decision, especially when you're tired. Do this exercise. Identify the area of your life where you feel most tempted to give up due to fatigue. Now, commit to taking one more step every day for a week, no matter how tired you are. It might be one more repetition at the gym, 15 additional minutes studying, or one more call in your business. At the end of the week, you'll notice something extraordinary. What previously seemed impossible now feels manageable. That's character building in action. Most people don't understand that fatigue is temporary, but the character you build by overcoming it is permanent. As Hill said, persistence is a quality of character that can overcome any obstacle, no matter how great. Have you noticed that after overcoming an especially difficult period, you feel capable of facing challenges that previously seemed impossible? That's proof that your character is strengthening. Every time you choose to continue when others would abandon ship, you're expanding your capacity for future success. If you feel this message is resonating with you, make sure to share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes, a simple reminder that fatigue is temporary can be all that someone needs to keep going. But there's an even deeper level of understanding about fatigue and persistence, a secret that the truly successful know and apply. And that's what we'll talk about in the next point. 5. Fatigue is the last barrier before massive success. It's the final test before your transformation. Napoleon Hill discovered this when studying the patterns of success. Right before a significant breakthrough, almost all people experience what he called the test of persistence, that moment where everything seems to conspire for you to quit. It's as if the universe wanted to make sure you really deserve the success you're seeking. Hill explained it perfectly. Before success comes into your life, you are sure to meet with much temporary defeat and perhaps some failures. When defeat overtakes you, accept it as a signal that your plans are not sound. Rebuild those plans and set sail once more toward your coveted goal. Have you realized that the greatest opportunities often disguise themselves as seemingly insurmountable problems? Most people quit just when they're about to discover that hidden opportunity. It's as if there were a universal law dictating that the last obstacle before success always seems the most difficult. Think about any great achievement in history: the light bulb, the airplane, the eradication of diseases. All these advances came after their creators faced extreme fatigue that would have made any ordinary person quit. As Hill said, most men quit just when they're about to achieve success. They quit on the 1-yard line. They give up at the last minute of the game, 1 foot from a winning touchdown. There's a fascinating psychological phenomenon that occurs here. Right before a major breakthrough, your conscious mind experiences what psychologists call decision fatigue, that state where you feel you've exhausted all possible options. It's precisely at that moment when you must remember that fatigue is the last barrier, not a signal to give up. Do this exercise. Think about your biggest current goal. Now, answer honestly. What would you do if you knew with absolute certainty that success is guaranteed if you persist for just 30 more days, no matter how tired you are? This perspective changes everything, doesn't it? The good news is that in most cases, success is much closer than you think. One of the most powerful tools that Hill taught was what he called the mastermind alliance. When you're absolutely exhausted, seek someone who shares your vision and values. Share your current challenge with that person. Often that fresh mind can see solutions that your tired mind cannot perceive. The secret is this: fatigue temporarily clouds your vision, but it never changes your potential. As Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Your current fatigue is just the final test of your commitment to that belief. Do you know what happens when you overcome that final barrier? You experience what Hill called mental alchemy, that transformation where the lead of adversity turns into the gold of achievement. It's an experience that forever changes your perception of what's possible. Every truly successful person you know has gone through that critical moment where extreme fatigue met even more extreme determination, and determination won. As Hill explained, great achievements are never the result of physical strength, but of the strength of perseverance. When you look back on a life of achievements, you realize that the moments of greatest fatigue were precisely the turning points that took you to the next level. They weren't obstacles, they were opportunities in disguise. If you've made it this far, there's something you already know deep down. Fatigue isn't your enemy. It's the most effective coach you'll ever have. Every time you feel like you can't go on, and yet you continue, you're rewriting the limits of what's possible for you. Napoleon Hill spent his entire life studying the difference between those who achieve extraordinary success and those who settle for the ordinary. His conclusion was clear. The difference between successful people and others is not a lack of strength, not a lack of knowledge, but rather a lack of will. And that will is forged precisely in the moments where fatigue invites you to surrender. Today, you have a choice before you. You can see your fatigue as a signal to stop, or you can recognize it as the indication that you're about to experience your greatest breakthrough. Those who change the world choose the second option. The fatigue you're feeling right now isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your transformation. As Hill would say, Defeat is a temporary condition. Giving up is what makes it permanent. Your persistence in the face of fatigue is the ultimate proof of your commitment to your dreams. Comment below with this declaration to reaffirm your commitment. I choose to persist when others quit. My fatigue today is the strength that will build my success tomorrow. Remember, the world doesn't reward those who never get tired. It rewards those who, tired and all, keep moving forward. If this message has resonated with you, make sure to subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes all we need to keep going is knowing that we're not alone in this battle against fatigue. See you in the next video, where we'll continue building together that unstoppable mindset that the world won't be able to ignore.